One, two, one, two. One, two, one, two. One, two, one, two.
you can be seated, because it is hot in here in many ways. Woo! What a way to get started. So it is my great delight to welcome you to the 187th Convocation of Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York. It is so good and right to have everyone here together for the start of a new year. And I am going to begin with Union's land acknowledgement, which you will see on a plaque in the narthex. And it was written over a period of time in close conversation with our native friends at the Sweetwater Community Center across the Hudson. And I am going to begin with Union Theological Seminary acknowledges and honors the land on which this building stands as the homeland and territory of the Lenape people, as well as the habitat and dwelling place of the many beings they have been in relationship with. We give thanks to all the spirits of nature. We pay respect to the Lenape peoples past, present, and future. And we express support for the flourishing of indigenous peoples and lifeways within this place and everywhere. So I want to start with a bunch of welcome backs and thank yous. And I want to start off by asking, I know they're running around all over the building, but those people who are here from facilities, you've worked so hard to get this day ready. I just want you to stand up so we can applaud you. There they are in the back. And then I would like everyone who is here from the staff and the administration just to stand so we know you worked all summer. So we're not welcoming you back, just like facilities, but we're so happy you're here. And a special call out to Mara Smith and Carolyn Classic. Stand up, Carolyn! Carolyn. Carolyn. And now I would like to ask the faculty to stand so we can welcome you back, our esteemed faculty. Woo! And a special welcome to Dr. Myron Chris, our new professor, assistant professor of psychology and religion, and to our outstanding Dean Cooper. And then I know I'm going to really embarrass her, but I would like to ask the Reverend Dr. Lakeisha Walren, President of New York Theological Seminary, to stand up so we can officially welcome NYTS. And then I'd like to say, I know we already had a chance to do this, but a special welcome to Reverend Dr. James Ford, world-renowned preacher, former Union professor, former pastor of our neighbor, the Riverside Church, and a 1962 graduate of Union. As you all heard outside, or you didn't if you weren't there, today is his 88th birthday. Another special word of welcome to our Board of Trustees, who are represented here today by the Vice Chair of our board, the glorious Rhonda Joy McLean. Whoa. Okay, now I want all the returning students to stand up so we can welcome you back to campus. Woo! Woo! And then last but not least, will the amazing, fantastic, incredible 1987th entering class of Union Theological Seminary please rise so we can say welcome, welcome to you. So we call this service a convocation because the word convoke derives from the Latin word meaning to call out or to call forth. This service is designed to convey a deep sense of a beginning, one in which we are all taken out of our regular lives and pulled by the voices of community and the spirits that surround us into a new place for a new task. And today, we are especially calling the entering class of 2023 to this place. In a minute, our vice chair will do what union leaders have been doing for the past 187 years, and she will read you the preamble to our school's original charter, which was registered with the state of New York in 1836. There is a line in that preamble that I want to pull out and highlight because it says something very important about why you, the class of 2023, are here, why you were admitted to Union, and why you are now part of this community. It's in the middle of the preamble, and it says this: the founders hope and expect to call forth from this flourishing city genius, talent, and world-transforming zeal. Can you imagine founders saying something like that? Oh my gosh, those are our founders. And that is what we are here today to call forth in each one of you. Genius. Now, usually we hear that word, we think Einstein. But what the world really means, in terms of its formal definition, is exceptional ability. You are each, in your own ways, bringing to this place mind-boggling creativity, experiences, exceptional ability. So today we call you forth to bring your own best genius to this place. Talent. I immediately think of a junior high talent show where people are singing and dancing and playing with puppets. And I know we have plenty of singers and dancers in this class, but the word that is used here is much broader. To have talent is to be especially good at doing something with the emphasis on doing. You are not coming to Union just to cultivate ideas in your minds and hearts. You are here to be formed to act in the world in life-giving, fresh, and imaginative ways. Today, we call you forth to grow your talent in this place. And then that last phrase, world-transforming zeal. Each of you has it, or you wouldn't be here, period. We live in a world which groans and yearns for liberative transformation. And here at Union, we see our call as cultivating the zeal, the zest, the vitality, the energy of spirit that is needed to do that work. And today we call you to join us and join with people of conscience and spirit everywhere around the world to the joyful hard work of zealous world transformation. So you geniuses, you community of enormous talent, and you zealous world transformers, we call you forth. Amen. And now I ask our vice chair to come and read the preamble to us.
On behalf of your Board of Trustees, I bid you good afternoon. Welcome to the heat. Your preamble, our preamble. A number of leaders in the city of New York and Brooklyn, being deeply impressed by the claims of the world upon the committed to furnish a competent supply of well-educated leaders, impressed also with the inadequacy of all existing means for this purpose, and believing that large cities furnish many particular advantages for conducting theological education, resolved unanimously in humble dependence on the grace of God to attempt the establishment of a theological seminary in the city of New York. And as you have heard, and as we all embrace, the founders hope and expect to call forth from this flourishing city genius, talent, and world-transforming zeal. It is the design of the founders to provide a theological seminary in the midst of the greatest and most growing community in America, around which all people who desire to live in freedom and to stand aloof from the extremes of doctrinal speculations and ecclesiastical domination may cordially and affectionately rally.
Okay, so now we come to the part of this ceremony where we actually invite you to participate in a pledge. So I invite the incoming members of the seminary, students, staff, and faculty, those who are coming here for the first time, to stand and declare your intention. So everyone who is new, please rise. So that your declaration of intent is in your bulletin, and we can say it together. In gratitude for Union Theological Seminary's heritage of freedom and commitment, as first declared by the founders in the preamble to the Constitution, we pledge to help Union recognize and carry out its mission in our time. And everyone else, well, they remain standing and we remain sitting, respond together. With thanksgiving for those who have led you here and for your faithful response to their call, we pledge to support you as you join this community in its mission. You may be seated. You may be seated now. Okay. Now I invite all the returning members to stand up. And declare your intention. In gratitude for Union Theological Seminary's heritage of freedom and commitment, as first declared by the founders in the preamble to the Constitution, we pledge to help Union recognize and carry out its mission in our time. And all of those who are new to the community, respond. With thanksgiving for those who have led you here and for your faithful response to their call, we pledge to support you as you continue in this community in its mission. You may be seated.
Keith P. Jones is an African-American community activist, a wheelchair user with cerebral palsy, who is active in multicultural, cross-disability education and outreach efforts. He is a hip-hop artist who created Crip Hop Nation, a crossroads of music, disability, diversity, community, and political action. This is his poem. Wait. What does it mean to have to wait for your humanity to be recognized? What does it mean to have to wait for your life to be valued by others? What does it mean to have to wait for others to deal with you equal in your own life? What does it mean? Do I have to wait for others to recognize their own humanity? We have tried for decades and decades to live in a world that wants us to wait. We have tried for decades and decades and decades to live in a world without heat, but we must wait. We have tried for decades and decades and decades to move in a way in which we are recognized, but we wait. We wait for intelligence to enter into one's soul so they can see value in others. We wait for the earth to be recognized as the only place we have to call home. We wait for doors to be made easy to open. We wait for classrooms to fully embrace us. We wait for love to find us and embrace us for the humans that we are. We wait, we wait, we wait. We have carried this weight on our shoulders for decades and decades and decades. This weight of hatred, this weight of oppression, this weight of ableism, this weight of sexism, this weight of misogyny, this weight of racism, this weight of depression, this weight of despair. So we wait. We carry this weight as if it were a boulder made of feathers. We carry this weight as if it's the heaviest thing the universe has placed on our backs. But we move and remove with specific and determined intent to not have to wait for our humanity to be recognized or acknowledged. So for those who wait at crossroads with no curb cuts, so for those who wait in rooms crying because their identities are not being accepted, we are here now. So the wait is over.
We live in truly unique times when boundaries are being redefined and what it means to be a community and what it takes to develop and cultivate and sustain a community are being reinvented and reimagined. While the union experience has long been powered by proximity and engagement in physical spaces, union is now a community made up of students and faculty learning together in new ways and new spaces. As our online community continues to grow alongside our thriving New York City community, we find ourselves redefining what it means to foster spiritual life, develop personally, professionally, and intellectually, and be part of a truly caring community. I thank the many individuals joining us from around the country and world today, and I want them to know that they too are very much with us today and very much being celebrated today. Dr. Amy Meverden, a Union alum who now serves as our Writing Center Director and faculty member, will be offering a prayer on behalf of the Union community located beyond our James Chapel walls.
A prayer by Venerable Master Sing Yun. O great compassionate Buddha, Today is a new beginning. On this day, I recall past experiences. I have failed, but have never been disappointed. I have been sad, but have already been able to open my mind peacefully. I have been wronged, but have understood that everything in this world arises and extinguishes according to the law of dependent origination. I have shed tears, but have deeply believed that tomorrow will be better. This year, under the blessing and protection of your compassionate Buddha light, I pray to you to grant me the courage to face all challenges in this new academic year. I pray to you to grant me the patience to accept all setbacks in this new academic year. I pray to you to grant me the strength to carry out all work in this new academic year. I pray to you to grant me the wisdom to be grateful for all causes and conditions in this new academic year. O great, compassionate Buddha, please help me increase my wisdom. Please help me open my mind. May I be able to appreciate the wonders of sky and earth. May I be able to be grateful for the warmth of the world. May I be able to obtain the assistance of friends. May I be able to realize the value of Dharma. O great compassionate Buddha, please help me become a person wealthy in spirit. Every day, may I give with joy. Every day, may I willingly form affinity with others. Every day, may I practice loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Every day, may I treat people with tolerance and generosity. O great, compassionate Buddha, please help me become a brave person in life. May I be able to purify my thoughts. May I be able to contribute often. May I be able to do no wrong. May I be able to do only good. O great, compassionate Buddha, please bless me. May I possess spiritual wisdom and the Buddha mind. May I have prajna wisdom and compassion and liberate people from suffering. O great, compassionate Buddha, I recognize the presence of your image in my mind. I realize that I came to the human world to be happy. I understand that I have entered into society to contribute. I know that I am cultivating the way to enlightenment, to benefit all. I vow from this moment on to benefit all sentient beings and awaken myself and others every day. I vow from today on to bring good fortune and benefit to the world and the people, and to liberate self and others every moment. O great, compassionate Buddha, please accept my sincerest prayer. O great, compassionate Buddha, please accept our sincerest prayer. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
Well, I'm so delighted to introduce Dr. Myron Chris Florence to the Union community. Can you get up? Dr. Florence is the visiting assistant professor of pastoral theology and a Louisville fellow who will be with us for 2 years. A native of Decatur, Georgia, he grew up singing lead in the church choir. A musician, an artist by birth, practice, and training, he enjoys every element of art, from fine art and design to acting, singing, performance. After his 2 master's degrees from Columbia Theological Seminary in pastoral care, he got his doctoral degree from Garrett Evangelical Seminary in Evanston, Illinois. His dissertation is entitled Between Lyrics and Lives: How Lyrical Theologies of Brokenness Impact the Lived Expressions of Sane, Gender-Loving Gospel Singers. It's amazing, right? He is a practicing psychotherapist seeking to help clients and students develop their self-esteem and their unique voice. His passions lie at the intersection of psychology, theology, sexuality, and the arts. And I found that in his spare time, he has been exploring New York City, an unknown land to him before he arrived in July. He's been enjoying the rich cultural and gastronomical feasts that New York City has to offer. Much more than me, a kind of a native New Yorker. He's been to more restaurants than I have in my life here. We're so blessed to have all of your gifts present right here at Union Seminary. And your passion and your commitments dovetail so wonderfully with the passions and interests of many of our Union students. So welcome.
Thank you.
So for the convocation address, we're trying something new. Hence, the 2 of us are standing here. We're going to model a conversation-style address. We hope that this relationality, something that happens between the 2 of us, is essential to the community that we build here together, and can model that in our conversation. So, here we go. Ready?
I am ready.
All right. Do you need to be near the podium?
No,
You okay?
I'm good.
Oh, you're good? Okay.
Yes.
I told you, it's
I'm flexible.
preacher, singer, performer. So Dr. Myron Chris Florence, your dissertation is on the theology of brokenness and sane, gender-loving gospel singers. Given your singing and music ministries in churches, I imagine that this topic was very close to your heart.
Very much so.
Can you tell us briefly, because we're kind of hot and steaming, take your time, about this work that you have spent last, I guess, 6-7 years cultivating?
5 years. 5 years, yeah.
5 years.
I finished the PhD in 5 years, so yay. But this work is very near and dear to my heart. I fit the demographic, same gender-loving gospel singers, and I began to think about the lyrics that we would sing. One song, when I was graduating from my seminary, I was a gospel choir director, and we sang, I led the choir at graduation on the song, "Brokenness, brokenness is what I long for. Brokenness is what I need. Brokenness, brokenness is what you want for me." And we sang that song, but after graduating, I began to think about the lyrics of brokenness, because that is something that throughout my Pentecostal non-denominational faith tradition, we always talked about and said you needed to be broken in order for God to use you, and that God would break you in order to make you, was a word we would say. But then I began to think about that as a psychotherapist. Is that theology actually helpful? Particularly for this demographic, same gender-loving men who have been ostracized not only outside of the black church, but within the black church. So this work is an invitation for people to consider their theology and what its impact really is.
Wow. And rethinking brokenness and how we live into it or reject it, or what it means for our faith formation and how we understand ourselves in light of divine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one person might embrace brokenness while the other person might find it harmful or traumatizing, but I invite you to just have that conversation, just think about it critically.
Yeah, great, thank you. And in that line of your thinking through brokenness, theology, and this is a convocation address, so I'm going to step aside a little bit and kind of invite you to talk about a few words that you might have as we start our new year together. There's a new person coming in, there are new people here, there are returning people here. What words might you have for us as we start our year?
Thank you, Dr. Pop. I grew up in the black church, as I said, and they would always say, I won't be before you long. But that usually happened like an hour later. You were still there. But I definitely will not be before you long because we are all hot in here. But I think in song. Friends tell me, Myron, Chris, you have a song for everything. But I'm also a one-liner. And what I mean by that is I know the first line or one line of a song. Don't ask me what the second line is. For example, many years ago, I would sing when I answered the phone, hola, hola, eh. And I would say that, just different friends call. Well, one friend called me and I was like, hola, hola, eh. And she said, rollin', 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 can play now. I was like, what? She said, that's literally the second line of the song. Really? Any song that I've ever heard can come up to mind at any given time. So one day I woke up and began to sing, let the river run. But I didn't know the rest of the song, so I said, I hadn't heard this song in many of years. This song, if you don't know it, is Let the River Run by American singer-songwriter Carly Simon. From that, I'm dating myself, 1988 movie, Working Girl, with such actors as Harrison Ford and Sigourney Weaver and Melanie Griffith. I don't know if anybody even knows who these people are these days. But my mother really loved this movie, and she watched it over and over again. So the theme song was Let the River Run. Well, a few days later, after I woke up with singing that song, I randomly turned on the TV, and I was watching this show, See, on Apple TV, S-E-E. If you're not familiar, See is a post-apocalyptic dystopia where all of civilization has lost its sense of sight. Yet, there is a generation of sighted who are being born. But the sighted are not warmly embraced. No, this culture does what many cultures do when there's something that is different, than the majority. They feared the sighted. They put labels on them. They call them witches. And if that weren't enough, they sent out witch hunters whose sole purpose was to kill anyone who was suspected to be sighted. They would burn them alive at the stake. For the sighted were viewed as evil. In this episode that I watched, one group is trying to escape. While walking in darkness, two women begin to sing, let the river run, let all the dreamers wake the nation. Oh, come, the New Jerusalem. What are the odds that of all the songs in all the world that they would be singing this same song that just days before randomly came to mind? So I had to look up the lyrics because I was focusing on let the river run. But then I went to that second line which says, let all the dreamers wake the nation. But you see, dreamers are divinely appointed messages given to us that positively impact our sphere of influence. Let me say that again. Dreams are divinely appointed messages given to us to positively impact our spheres of influence. Everything starts with a dream. Dreams are daring, dreams are bold, dreams are radical. They are bigger than both you and me. If your dream does not excite you and embolden you while scaring you just a little bit, your dream is too small. Dreams propel us up and thrust us out into the world. Yes, dreams are not meant to be hoarded to yourselves. The dreams should not die with the dreamer. They are to be shared for the healing of the world and for the nations. When I was a child, they would tell us, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. They would ask, what's your dream? Dream big. I don't know the messages now, but when I became an adult, I began to hear messages that stated the teachers should stop telling kids that they can be whatever they wanted to be. That they were setting them up for disappointment, giving them false hope and false expectations. Even at an early age, society will try to stop you from dreaming. But don't stop dreaming. We know that dreamers are a little bit disconcerting. They make us uncomfortable. They push us out of our comfort zone. Yet any advances that have been made as a human race came out of the minds and was carried on the backs of the dreamers. So as scary and anxiety-producing as they are, we need dreamers. Those who see beyond the here and now, moving us from what is to what could be. We find ourselves now at this space, in this place, Union Theological Seminary, which has a history for training, emboldening, and housing dreamers. So incoming class and everyone else, as you matriculate through these theological waters, it will shake some things up for you. Your life may feel like it's being turned upside down. What you came in believing may not be the same thing when you leave. Your community may change. It may disrupt your social and familial networks. I know so many people who came into this theological journey married, left, divorced, came in single, left, partnered, came in closeted, left, liberated. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It will cost you something. But even if it costs you everything, I admonish you, beloved, to dare to dream. Don't stop dreaming, no matter how old you are or no matter how young. Keep dreaming. Write your dream. Live your dream. Don't you let nobody kill your dream. Because in this polarizing climate, our individual and collective dreams will shake and wake the nation. It will wake our families. It will wake our schools and businesses. It will wake our temples, synagogues, and churches. The more we stand up for our dreams that are rooted in love, the closer we will get to that new Jerusalem, where we begin to bring heaven a little bit closer to earth, where justice begins to run down like water, and there is no Jew or Gentile. There is no black or white. There is no Republican or Democrat. And we see that we are all precious in divine sight. So we can now sing, let the river run. Let all the dreamers wake the nation. So then we can say, come, come, the new Jerusalem.
Hello, I'm Karena Gore, and I'm here with my colleagues from the Center for Earth Ethics, Eugenia Cooper-Newton, Tori Field, and Aja Two Crows, to guide us through a ritual. We begin with the words of Howard Thurman, theologian, deep thought leader, pastor, longtime dean of Marsh Chapel at Boston University. He recalled the feeling that he had as a child on the Atlantic coast of Florida. Quote, "I had the sense that all things, the sand, the sea, the stars, the night, and I, were one lung through which all life breathed. Not only was I aware of the vast rhythm enveloping all, but I was a part of it, and it was a part of me." He went on to say, "The resulting synthesis was to me religious rather than metaphysical." So as we begin this season of scholarship at Union Theological Seminary, we call in that insight. And we invite you to breathe. Thinking, sensing, knowing, the earth is a part of us and we are a part of the earth. We have within each of our bodies many miraculous elements of the earth, the iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the air in our lungs, the water. Like the earth, our bodies are much more than half water, not quite 3/4. We can feel it in our bodies, including in our mouths, behind our eyes. In the soil and the sunshine, in the food that sustains us. And as we breathe, let's also remember the body of the earth, these places that are not so far away as they may seem. In this time in particular, when we live in interrelationship and interconnection with this living planet, so strong and yet also fragile, so affected by our collective thoughts and behavior, bringing us to this moment in time when we breathe together and think of the ice at the poles. Think of the deep forests of the Amazon and the Congo. Think of those small island nations in the South Pacific. And think also of a place special to you, that you can remember, that nurtured you, nourished you, that you can remember the smells and the sounds. Think of that place also as we breathe in and out, aware that the earth is part of us and we are part of the earth. And we have here an altar that we collectively created that has representation from those places that I mentioned, and also has other special things. And I invite now Aja Two Crows to introduce the altar.
Hello, I'm happy to introduce how we are representing the 4 elements on this altar. The candle, of course, representing fire, and we have water that will be offered in ritual momentarily, as well as water from the Jordan River. We're representing air in the form of 2 feathers on the table, one from a red-tailed hawk and the other from a blue jay. One feather was gifted and the other one was found. Finally, we're representing earth in the form of soil from what's known as holy ground in Lowndes County, Alabama. And I'm going to pass it off.
Eugenia Cooper-Newton.
The flowers of the altar, which many of you probably can't see, but they're mostly sunflowers. And sunflowers are a representative, a grassroots symbol of the climate justice movement and the seeds that are spread throughout the movement. In September of 2014, The Climate Justice March began with 400,000 people carrying sunflowers. And shortly thereafter, the Center for Earth Ethics at Union Theological Seminary was founded by Corinna Gore.
Tori Field.
There are also on the altar representatives from two other members of our larger interconnected community. We have a wooden duck. Many of you may remember, those of you who have been here for a while, this community, the spirits of this community was lifted each spring when a certain duck came back to Union and came to our quad and raised her babies each year, bringing a remarkable amount of joy and magic to our community, and who was also tenderly cared for by people like Michael O. and others in the community. And so we wanted to bring her here as well. And also some leaves from the ginkgo trees that are here around campus. The ginkgo being one of our oldest ancestors, one of the oldest trees, we think 170 million years, something like that. And also the ginkgo being honored as mind medicine in many cultures, and so feeling poignant in the ways that that the ginkgo might support us as a learning and thinking community here together. And we also wanted to just invite you all to participate in an offering with us to end here. Each of us will take a small amount of water that we have and offer in our minds a small blessing or prayer. And then later on this evening, we'll take that collective water out into the quad and offer it to the land. So we'll start with each of us, and then we'd like to invite any of the incoming first-year students that wish to come up the center aisles, take a small amount of water, offer a prayer in your mind, and put the water into the bucket. And for those of you who are not coming up and who are sitting, if you would just, in your minds, send up some good love and energy and thoughts and prayers.
you.
To the life giver, soul sustainer, great creator, to the one I call holy. We offer thanks for the ability to gather in this space of divine complexity and awesomeness. On this 187th convocation, we name the divinity of spirit that lingers in this place. We pause to recognize the sacred remnants of dreams held, perhaps deferred, and then incubated to finality. We call on hallowed power and blessed strength that will fertilize new birth of understandings. And we lift up the conception of the unexplained and the unexpected movement of body and of soul that is not yet written. We place a mirror to our heart as we investigate the inward paradox of our soul. We honor the least of these, and we lean into the complicated contradictions and the realities of being the first and of being the last. We are in preparation to seek our personal truth and our shared and individual confusion. We call upon Spirit to blow through this place a fresh wind of creativity, of uniqueness, of excellence, of understanding, of discernment, of compassion, and of radical community. As we go forth, may we move in audacity, may we walk in boldness, and may we step in an overflow of blessings, of covering, of protection, of peace, of joy, of love, and of amazing grace. This is my prayer for you. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
President Jones, Dean Supar, Mother Quinn, Vice President of the Board of Trustees, brothers and sisters, members of the faculty, administration, and student body. During my time at Union, I had trouble because whenever they asked me to preach, I reflected that I was from a Pentecostal background. And that when the president gave me 4 minutes to talk, I said, I can't even get started with the introductions in 4 minutes. But I've become more sophisticated now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the president my watch. President, will you please stand up 1 minute before my 4 minutes expire? So let me get this. Members of the incoming class, please stand. Trust me, I'm going to put some words in your mouth, and I hope you will say these words, even if you don't yet understand or believe them. I'll come back whenever the president sends for me to explicate the meaning of these words. Repeat after me. There's a song inside of me. I can hardly wait to see what it is I have to say or the music I will play. It's been so long in coming. First the thought, then some humming. But before I find my key, something stifles it in me. What keeps my song from being sung? Past hurts, deep fears, a timid tongue. What makes my freedom come so hard? A self-made live-in prison guard.
A self-made live-in prison guard.
Meanwhile, the song still groans in me.
Meanwhile, the song still roars in me.
I can't be me until my song is set free.
I can't be me until my song is set free.
Debating, hesitating, getting ready to sing. My song could die like a stillborn thing. Release your song, said the Spirit to me. Be free, be free. It's Jubilee. Cast out each fearsome song patrol. Patrol. Proclaim deliverance to your soul. The Spirit of life now flowed through my blood. I said, yes, it came like a flood. Up from within and down from above. A kingdom built on the power of love. Thank God my song has been, you won't be able to say that until graduation now. Thank God my song has been set free.
Thank God my song has been set free.
The freedom in the words are right, the rhythm in the words are right for me. I'm finally ready to sing out strong. My soul is saying, this is my song. I'll come back and explicate that for you when the president sends for me. All right, you may be seated. Is my time up?
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. I'm Malcolm. And one thing I learned from my first music teacher is sometimes you have to slide off the bench and let someone else take over. So when award-winning jazz pianist, producer, composer, and arranger, Mr. Cyrus Chestnut walked through these doors, I asked him to do this instrumental interlude. So please welcome to the piano, Mr. Cyrus Chestnut.
For the benediction today, I brought a prayer it's a Jewish blessing that you usually say when you're setting out on a journey, whether that is a journey you haven't been on before, or a journey you make quite often, say every year. Since it's a benediction, why don't you all stand again? I know you just sat down. Stand up. May it be your will, Adonai our God, the God of our ancestors and all those who came before us, to guide us this academic year, I changed it a bit, in peace, to sustain us this year in peace, to lead us to our desired destination, that is, our academic and vocational goals, in health and in joy and in peace, and to bring us back home in peace. Save us from every obstacle and disaster along the way, and from all the calamities that threaten this world in which we work and live and study. Bless the work of our minds and hands. Bless our learning and our teaching. May we find grace, kindness, and compassion in your eyes, in the eyes of our fellow travelers here at Union, and in the eyes of all who see us. Hear this, our supplication for you. It is said, listen to prayer and supplication. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea tefillah. Blessed are you, Lord, who hears prayer.